Back at Lake of the Ozarks, we have just received word from the official tower that the Atlas suffered a bent prop shaft, therefore unable to start Heat 2A. Let's move on. Here's some of the many fans standing on the Bagnell Dam with a ringside seat at the first turn as you see the boats going by. Great spot to watch. The Budweiser and the Lite All-Star. The Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit and American Speedy Printing, by the way, has withdrawn. Therefore, we have a three-boat heat for 2B with the Budweiser, the Lite All-Star, and the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit. Here comes the start of the race. Coming right at you in your living room, the Budweiser on the right of your screen. Here comes the Lite All-Star, and in third place is the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit with Todd Garling. The Budweiser coming out of the first turn as you see the Bagnell Dam in the background, which forms this lake. It was built back in 1929. The Budweiser, and here comes company, the Lite All-Star with Tom DeHeath on the outside. He even has a bit of a lead as they go down the back chute on lap number 1 here on Lake of the Ozarks. But here comes the Budweiser and Jim Kropfeld going after victory number 10 as an unlimited driver. Again, these two, as Tom DeHeath said, race together in the Grand Prix and the limited levels, so they are very familiar with each other's style, and they're putting on a great show right now on lap number 1 in Heat 2B. The Budweiser, Jim Kropfeld, first place, with Tom DeHeath to his outside hip in the Lite All-Star. And now on the inside, Todd Garling is moving up with the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit. Three straight across from each other, the Bud in the middle, the Lite on the outside, and Todd Garling with the Joe Ricci on the inside. About to complete lap number 1 with Todd Garling moving ahead on the inside. Let's get the speeds. They're not all that fast, but they're very competitive. Todd Garling at 103, the Bud at 103, and the Lite All-Star at 102 as they go into the second turn now here, rather the first turn on the second lap. The Budweiser, Todd Garling, and the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit, and the Lite All-Star. And now, as you see, Todd Garling trying to run away from the two beer boats as he goes down the back chute. There is where he goes directly perpendicular against those ground swells. It can be very dangerous, but it appears that that boat is handling it very well. It's a John Stodiger designed boat, as we mentioned earlier, brand new going into 1984. The Budweiser moving up, and here comes Tom DeHeath. That boat tends to hook a little bit. It did, at least until today. They had trouble with it Saturday, but it looks like they've dialed it in much better and is handling better than even in earlier races today. The Lite All-Star on the outside, the Budweiser in the middle, and Todd Garling with the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit in lane number 1. Speeds for the three boats, 109, 107, 108. They're all right together as they come down the main chute past many fans who are watching alongside the main straightaway out on the shore. There's a bulkhead there, some great viewing areas, and they're seeing some spectacular shots. It's not often you see three boats like this going along together, much like the consolation race that took place in Seattle earlier in this racing season for 1984. In first place from this camera angle, it appears that the Lite All-Star has a slight edge with a Budweiser in lane number 2 and the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit in lane number 1. Oh, this is spectacular viewing. Look at this, the Budweiser in its beautiful white, gold, and red trim, the U12 with a white and blue Lite All-Star on the outside, the turbine-powered boat. A reverse turbine engine. It has the exhaust going out the front of the engine rather in the back, much like the Tosti Asti and the Atlas van lines. A great shot of Tom DeHeath, the veteran driver of both the Limiteds, the Grand Prix, auto racing, and of course, unlimited hydroplane racing. Speeds for the boat. Look at this, straight across the board. 105, 105, 105. All three of them staying very close to each other, and again, trusting each other, especially going around these tight turns here at Lake of the Ozarks. A 2.5-mile course, which is standard for the Unlimiteds, and a 5-race, or rather a 5-lap race. The Budweiser still holding on to second place in the middle, the national points champion. Todd Garling and the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit in lane number 1, moving up now against one of the beer boats, the Budweiser, the Lite All-Star on the outside with Tom DeHeath, and they're putting on a whale of a show for the local fans here at Lake of the Ozarks. Todd Garling, man who finished in second place in Miami in the first race of 1984, trying to pick up more points. Remember, the Lite All-Star has 300 points, and the Budweiser with 400 winning an earlier heat. So the Lite All-Star needs to pick up some more points to ensure a spot in the final. Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit as well, wanting to get more points here. Hopefully another 300 or 225 if it can't beat that boat, the Budweiser. A great race between the Bud, the Lite, and the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit. Now we enter the 5th and final lap between the Lite, the Bud, and the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit. Remember, this is Budweiser country. Many of the members of the family from Budweiser are here. Of course, the chairman of the board, August Busch III, is in the pits watching this race right now. And I would be very surprised if the Budweiser was going to let its chief competitor, at least on the markets when it comes to beer, the Lite All-Star, win in this race. And there goes Jim Kropfeld of the Budweiser down the back chute against those ground swells, beginning to string it out a little bit against his competitors, the Lite and the Joe Ricci. The Budweiser with Jim Kropfeld going after victory number 10 as an unlimited hydroplane driver. He's a shoo-in to make the final, of course, if he finishes here with already the 400 points we mentioned earlier. Kropfeld in first place, the Joe Ricci Spirit of Detroit in third place, and I believe the Lite, there it is, in second place, behind the Budweiser. Coming down to win Heat 2B, the Budweiser with Jim Kropfeld, first place and another 400 points. Second place, Tom DeHeath and the Lite All-Star, 300. So looking at the three boats, here are the total points for the day. A perfect 800 for the Budweiser, a great 600 for the Lite All-Star, and 525 for Joe Ricci. That should put them in the final. Let's go to Jim Hendrick.
Well, let's bust into this heavy group right now. Victorious in a very tight race again. Thrilling, Jim Kropfeld.
Well, it was a lot of fun. The Joe Ricci boat was running good, and the boat with Tommy DeHeath was really running good. So I could have probably went a little faster, but the water was kind of rough.
August Busch is getting as excited as burning when you're out there running. August, what do you think?
I like the competition. That boat called Lite and that boat called Budweiser make a good team, Budweiser Lite.
Hey, I understand we have another excited young man down there, speaking of Lite, and that is, of course, Tommy DeHeath, and my co-announcer down there, Don Poyer, is with him. Don?
Jim, we're with a man who has 2 second places today and 2 thrilling second places and great performance. You're having a ball out there, aren't you?
Yeah, this is really great. I haven't done this all year, and I'm really looking forward to it.
How's the boat handling? You're getting up to speeds now where you can start thinking aerodynamics.
Right. We're still working on that. It's not handling quite exactly right, but the Lite All-Star will be trimmed for the final heat, and we'll be rare going for it.
You're in the final.
First time this year. History was made today.
Okay, Don, right now we've got the owner, Jim Sedan. We've got the driver, Todd Yarling. Todd, Jim, you were excited on that dock. He was leading Budweiser.
Yeah, that was great. They looked super, super good. That was a heck of a race for the fans, and that's feeling.
Todd, what were you doing on the inside lane with those two fast boats?
I don't know. I kind of caught me by surprise. That was good to get up and run with them. I learned a lot. They taught me a lot while we were out there.
And the Joe Ricci Special Spirit of Detroit will be in the final, Don.
Jim, there's many a rumor flying around about Bernie Little's newer and much lighter boat for 1985. The cockpit's a lot smaller, too. Back to Lake of the Ozarks in a minute.
Am I getting anything?